this video, we're going to take a look at absolute value. We're going to take a look at it from, just straightforward, what do you do when you're taking the absolute value of just plain numbers, and then we're going to take an analytical approach to something more than just a number inside the absolute value bars. Okay, so looking at this from a straightforward approach. Okay, when you take the absolute value, basically you've got two options. You can take the absolute value of a positive number, or you can take the absolute value of a negative number. So doing a real simple example here, absolute value of, say, 8. That's an absolute value of a positive number, and that's going to result in a positive 8. Okay, pretty straightforward, and it's just a plain single number in there. We don't have to put a lot of thought into it. Now, your second alternative would be to take the absolute value of a negative number, so let's say absolute value of -4. All right, and again, we know because of what absolute value is, that is again going to result in a positive 4. Okay, and so for right now, we're just going to go with that. We've only got two scenarios, and it's a straightforward example because you have a single number inside those absolute value bars. All right, as you move on up, you learn this maybe in middle school and in an Algebra 1 class, but then as you continue to move up, and maybe you're in an Algebra 2 or a pre-calc class, then they're no longer going to just put a single number inside there. They may put some type of expression in there. So we might be taking a look at, say, the absolute value of maybe, say, the square root of 3 minus 1. Okay, so a little bit more challenging thing inside here. It's not just a single number. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is, since we really only have two scenarios, we either are taking the absolute value of a positive number or we're taking the absolute value of a negative number. Over here, what you're going to do is you're going to need to determine, well, is what's inside here a positive number or a negative number? Okay, so hopefully you can look at that square root of 3 and you can go, oh, well, it's approximately 1.7. All right, and if not, you could plug that into the calculator and get a decimal for that. Okay, so if the square root of 3 is a little bit over 1 and I'm subtracting 1, okay, well, what am I going to have? Well, I'm going to have the absolute value of a positive number. All right, well, what happened when we had the absolute value of a positive number? All right, it was just the number that was on the inside of the bracket because I want a positive answer. Okay, so it gives us a positive answer. So if this is positive, then when I take the absolute value of the square root of 3 minus 1, then I need to get the square root of 3 minus 1. Because it's already positive, I can estimate that value in there and realize that it's going to be a positive number. So when you take the absolute value of a positive number, you get the positive number. You don't have to do anything other than take what's on the inside of the brackets. Okay, now let's take another example. If I did absolute value of 2 minus, say, pi. Okay, well, everybody knows pi is about, what, 3.14? So 2 minus 3.14. Okay, well, what's that going to do? That's going to give us a negative number inside the absolute value bars. That's going to give us a negative number inside the absolute value bars. Now, we want it to be positive. Okay, but now let's come back over here and take a look at this for just a minute. If I started with a -4, how can I get to a positive 4? All right, well, what would you do? You would multiply it by a -1, because a negative times a negative gives me that positive 4. Okay, so if I know that what's on the inside here is negative, then to make it give me a positive answer, which is what I need it to do, I can multiply it by a -1. So over here, I'm going to take what's on the inside of those absolute value bars, which is the 2 minus pi, and because I know this is a negative value, I'm going to multiply it by -1, and that's going to give me the positive answer I need. So distributing there, that's going to give me a -2 plus pi as the absolute value of 2 minus pi. Okay, so just a really short video here of taking a look at absolute value, what we know with a straightforward approach with single numbers, and then when they start to make the problems a little bit more challenging with numerical expressions in there, well, what are you going to do and how you're going to handle it? You're going to look for, is the inside of that absolute value bar is positive or is it negative? You've got two approaches. If it's positive, you're good to go to write it down. If it is negative, you need to multiply it by that -1 to get the positive result that we need. Definitely, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share with your friends. Thanks.